Guys, welcome back to the Manlihood ManCast. I am so pumped that you're here with us today. Listen, make sure that you check out some of the resources that we've got for you. I want you to go to manlihood.com/store. And I want you to see what we've got. We've got some amazing things that are going to help you to be a better man and help you grow. And yes, some of them cost some money. That's okay. But stay tuned because I've got all kinds of free stuff that I'm offering. I give, honestly, my best stuff. I don't charge a thing for. I don't want anybody to say, why, Josh Hatcher doesn't care. He just wants money. He just keeps asking me to buy his stuff. No, listen, I do care. And I tell you, the best stuff that I have to offer you, I give you every day for free because I love you and I care about you and I want you to be a better man. And I want to be a better man, and so I share it. Okay? That's first of all that you need to know and you need to be aware of. But I also care about you enough that I want to be able to give this more time. I want to be able to invest in manlyhood so that I can help more people. In order to do that, I need to recoup some of my time. So I do that by writing and creating resources that I can sell to you for a reasonable cost, and then you can learn. So go to manlihood.com/store and see what we've got for you. So that being said, guys, we're going to jump into today's topic in just a little bit. Why man up isn't a bad thing. Hey, welcome back to the Manlihood ManCast. This is Josh Hatcher, and we're going to talk about why man up isn't a bad thing. Now, we're living in a culture right now that for some reason has rejected the idea that traditional masculinity has value. Okay? The American Psychological Association issued this report. Apparently it was out like 10 years ago, but it just now is starting to, the past couple years, it's going through the cycles, the news cycles, and getting picked up, and they're saying that traditional masculinity is harmful. No, that's malarkey and it's bull. Okay? It's good. It is good to be an old-fashioned man. It is good. And with that, we have the birth of some buzzwords that you hear all the time. Toxic masculinity and smash the patriarchy and a disdain for the phrase man up. Now, I want to tell you right now, don't bully people, okay? And we'll talk about toxic masculinity and my issues with that in just a minute, but let's talk about man up first. Don't bully people. Don't, make them feel weak, okay? Don't use it to be like, you're a pansy and you need to be stronger and tougher. No, but you can use it to encourage. And if you use it gently, okay? If you use it, explain what you mean. We do need to man up sometimes. And yes, I'm going to tell you right now, my wife is one of the strongest, smartest, hardest working, bravest people that I know. She is. She is a superhero. She is Wonder Woman and Superman at the same time. She's amazing. And I'm not going to tell her to man up. And I don't think that by asking somebody else to man up that I'm in any way degrading or belittling the idea that a woman can be brave and bold and courageous and strong. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that if you're a man, don't be a boy. That's pretty simple, right? If you're a man and you're letting fear hold you back, it's time to man up and push past the fear, right? If you're a man and you're letting your own selfish actions keep you locked in patterns that are self-destructive, man up and deal with it. If you are avoiding dealing with things that you need to step up to and deal with, man up and deal with it. Well, women are strong too. Yes, I know that. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying it's okay. It's okay to encourage someone to be a man. And if my wife is looking at something and she's a little nervous or brave or not brave and scared about it, I'm going to say, hey, you can do this. I believe in you. Woman up sounds dumb, but it's the same concept. You can do it. Step up to the plate. You've got this. So when I say man up, that's what I mean. I'm saying, hey, look, hey, don't look backward. You're not a 14-year-old boy. Okay? You're not a 14-year-old boy. You're a man. You can do this. I believe in you. That's what we mean when we say man up. Don't use it to bully people because that's stupid. Okay? Bullying is always stupid. But to use it to encourage, that's good. So, let's talk about toxic masculinity for a minute. First of all, I've told you many times before, but I'll say it again. I hate the phrase. I believe the concept is real. I know, and people are going to get on here and they're going to argue with me because they always do. You know that toxic masculinity isn't talking about all masculinity. I know that. You're talking about what happens when men behave badly, when men abuse women, when men think they're better than, when men belittle and bully and put down people. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about when men can't even be different. Because, toxic masculinity, the concept would look at Fred Rogers versus Clint Eastwood, and they would say that Clint Eastwood is more of a man than Fred Rogers, right? We know that Mr. Rogers is a very manly man. He's just gentle, and he's kind. And he is good with kids, and he feeds his goldfish, and he changes from his street shoes to his sneakers when he gets to his studio, okay? And he wears a cardigan. Does that mean that he's less of a man? No. So I understand that there is a concept within masculinity sometimes where it's not masculinity. There is a concept in the world that centers around men that puts others down if they're not as tough or manly or whatever. I'm not for that. Again, I already said I don't like bullying, okay? But masculinity, that phrase is being tarnished because it's the only thing you hear about. The only place that you're hearing about masculinity right now is behind the word toxic. So all over social media, all over the news, everywhere else, if you were to play a game of word association with an 18 to 24-year-old at all and say, masculinity, the word they're going to come up with is toxic. And they think that all masculinity is toxic. They say that they don't think that, but they do. Okay? Guys, it is not wrong to be a man. It is not wrong to like manly things. It is not wrong to be tough and rugged. It's not wrong. Just like it's not wrong for Mr. Rogers to wear a cardigan. Okay? And Mr. Rogers was tough. You ever see him testify before Congress? He was tough. He held his ground. It is not wrong to be masculine. And we need to stop acting like it is. Okay? And we need to stop. If we can come up with another word, that probably there is. You know what? There is a word. There's a great word for that behavior that you guys call toxic masculinity. Are you ready? Toxic. And it doesn't matter whether you're talking about women or men or just call it toxic. Toxic behavior is toxic. Masculine behavior, I believe, is noble. I believe that masculinity is noble, that it is courageous, that it is brave, that it is virtuous. I believe that it cannot be corrupted because it is good. So if a male is going around not paying women a fair wage for equal pay for equal work. Now, I'm not talking about education gaps or experience gaps. I'm just talking, let's say they're even candidates and you pay the woman less. Guess what? That's wrong, and that's toxic. And it's also not masculine. Because to be masculine is to have virtue, and virtue would say that I have honor, and the word honor means to value things rightly. So if I'm going to value things rightly, I'm going to make sure that equal pay happens, right? Right. So let's stop lumping in toxicity with masculinity. They don't belong together. Masculinity is noble. Masculinity is good. Masculinity is virtuous. Masculinity has honor. And we need to stop confusing them. I know, I feel like I'm fighting against a tidal current that is just trying to sweep it out the shore and say, forget it, you've already lost it. You don't get to define words anymore. It's already in the dictionary. I don't care. I'm still going to fight it. The words we use matter. How we use them matters. So, throw out toxic masculinity. We have toxic and we have masculine, and they're nothing alike. If it is toxic, it's not masculine. If it's masculine, it's not toxic. Bam. Problem solved. And the other thing I hear a lot is about this concept of the patriarchy being bad. A patriarchy is a society or culture or system that is led by men. And I guess here's what my problem is. Is it bad for a man to lead? No, it is not bad for a man to lead. It's good for a man to lead. It's also good for a woman to lead. And a culture or structure or system that is led by women is called a matriarchy. You have the father and the mother. Now, here's the thing. In my house, I like to think that I'm the spiritual leader of my home, that I'm, generally I'm in charge. Generally. But be honest with you, my wife is equally in charge. My wife is also a spiritual leader. My wife is also a leader. Guess what? We lead together. In our home, we have a matriarchy and a patriarchy, and they work together. I don't think we have to smash the patriarchy. We don't have to steal leadership away from men and just give it to women just because the system is broken. No, it's not the system that's broken. It is males that are not acting like men. Okay? It is women who are who are believing this radicalized agenda. I know I sound like a tinfoil hat conspiracy guy. I'm just saying, in general, there's a radicalized agenda out there that tells it's not about equality at all. It's about supremacy. And just like the idea that a male would be supreme over a woman, that's not masculine. That is not good. I don't believe that men are supreme. And if you believe that, I'm tempted to just tell you to buzz off and don't even listen to any more of my podcast. If you believe that men are supreme and should be lording over women, you got a problem. Okay? You've got a problem. I'm tempted to just tell you to buzz off, but what I will tell you is keep listening, because I'm hoping that you can see that and learn that. Okay? You are not somehow better than because you have some leadership and you are male. Being born with a penis does not give you special privilege. It does not. Equality is one thing. Supremacy, where a woman is over a man and better than a man and men are all toxic and evil and bad, is also wrong. We are equal, and we need to approach our relationships, and we need to approach our culture and our society and our working relationships with this understanding that it's okay. Leadership, there's enough leadership that can pass around. We do not have to have just one or the other. We do not have to steal or smash to empower. Okay? We do not have to erode the power that men have for women to have power. We don't have to. We can both have power. So let's do that. And when I say power, I'm not talking about an evil amount of power. I'm talking about to be empowered, to have leadership, to be able to make decisions, to be able to step up and do the right thing and do the things you need to do. We need both men and women to do those things. Anyway, guys, I know I talked for a long time about that today. I don't believe that man up is a bad thing. I don't think that toxic masculinity as a word phrase is acceptable, and I also don't think we should smash the patriarchy. Anyway, we'll be back in just a minute with our Ask a Man segment. Hey, we are back on the Manlihood ManCast, and this is our Ask a Man segment. Listen, if you've got a question and you want it answered, right now I'm answering a bunch of these, but I've got some guys that I'm going to go and see, and we're going to ask these questions to them. So that will be added in as our show continues to grow this year. But for right now, send me your questions. I'd love to hear them. You can go to manlihood.com/askaman. You can send it to me on Facebook. You can post it in the Manlihood Man Cave group on Facebook. Whether you're a man or a woman, you can ask a man. And if I can't answer it, I'll find somebody that can. So, our question today. Check this question out. It actually is kind of relevant based on what we just talked about. And that is, how do we, men and women, take back the ground that we've surrendered, especially in education, media, and politics? Is there a collective voice that can say unashamedly, enough is enough? So, I get what you're asking. I also know, a little bit about the guy that asked the question, and this is in no way talking bad about him. I'm going to say he leans conservative, that he's a Christian, that he feels like, and I know this feeling because I have felt it, I can identify with him. He feels like culture has shifted and we have lost our cultural authority. And I do think that some of that has happened. I do think that we had a culture that leaned more conservative, that sided a little more with Judeo-Christian values, at least on the surface. We know that behind the scenes it wasn't always so Christian. And over time, we have lost some of that. I think that, I know that in education, there's some cultural shifts that have happened. In the media, definitely in the media, there's some cultural shifts that have happened. In politics, yes, it's just turned into, bedlam. Is there a collective voice that can unashamedly say enough is enough? I think you're asking the wrong question. Yes, I do see that there are things that our culture has lost. Many things our culture has lost. I get really tired of, I like to watch TV. I do. I love fantasy shows and sci-fi shows and things like that. It's fun for me. Superhero shows. I get so tired of having a political agenda crammed down my throat. And I'll be honest, I'd be tired. I would be tired of it even if it was my own side that I agree with. Sometimes I just want to see superheroes. Sometimes I just want to see explosions. I get so tired of watching a Netflix original show and within 5 minutes there's boobs on the screen. Why am I paying for that to come into my house? I've got a wife. I can look at her boobs anytime. I don't need to see somebody else's. I don't want to. I don't want that in my life. I don't want what that opens up in my life. I've been down that road. I know what that's like, and I know where that leads me, and I don't want it. I think the question that we have to ask is different, though. I think we want another cultural revolution. We want to go back to 1969 and reverse what happened in Woodstock. We want to reverse the sexual revolution sometimes. That's not going to happen. So as someone who, yes, leans more conservative than most, as someone who, yes, identifies as a Christian with traditional values, I can understand the perspective that you're coming from. But have you ever won an argument with somebody that believes the other side? I mean, like won an argument. And I don't mean walked away thinking, I won the argument. I mean, like, changed their mind. You are never going to change somebody's mind on Facebook with a discussion, a political discussion. Never. It does not happen. You can give facts and figures and scientific proof from either side. Okay? From either side of the debate. You can give whatever you want, and they're going to believe what they want. That is the cool thing about freedom, is that we get to choose what we believe. Always, always, always we get to choose what we believe. And that is cool, especially if we choose to believe the truth. I like to think that I believe the truth about most things, but if I am so convinced that it's true that I'm not willing to just ask the questions, I can get myself in trouble, right? So I guess the right question to ask here is not, how do we say enough is enough? They're not going to hear it. They can't hear it. How about we start teaching our children? I never relied on the school system to teach my children my moral values and compass. No, in fact, we live in Pennsylvania, and in Pennsylvania there's a voucher program, which means that I can enroll my kids in the virtual charter school. And while it's basically like a public school at home with the public school curriculum, I get to have more say in my kids' education. And I know that's not for everybody, and I know that not everybody can do that. So you send your kids to school, guess what? You want them to learn your values? Then teach them when they get home. Teach them the truth if you don't believe they're being taught the truth. If you want to change the media, stop buying media that you disagree with. Stop funneling money into the stuff that's crap. If you stop watching porn, they'll stop making porn. Unfortunately, the statistics of the people who are Christian and conservative are ridiculously high when you look at the number of them that are consuming porn. And I'm not even just talking about mainstream media and Netflix original shows with boobs in it. I'm talking about hardcore porn. You want to change it? Stop participating in it. You don't like what's happening in politics, that the other side, and I don't care what side you're on, the other side is winning, or the other side has a perspective that you don't like? Guess what? Has politics ever done anything for this country? Ever? No. I don't know why we think that the people that we elect as president or senator or congressman or whatever are going to be our savior and are going to set... They promise you all the crap. And what do they deliver? Crap. They promise you everything. And you guys, I do it too. I've done it too. We eat it up. You want to change politics? Run for office and change it yourself. I guess that's my thought, guys. If you want to change the culture, change it yourself. I got tired of there not being enough media to help men be better men. So what did I do? I started Manlihood. You got something to say and you want to say it? Guess what? Shoot me a message. We'll work out a way you can do a guest blog, possibly, if what you say I think has value and not just tinfoil hat, blame the other guy. Here's my challenge, guys. While it does feel like we are in a culture war and the other side has taken everything from us, and I'm going to tell you, no matter which side you are on, whether you lean more liberal and you lean more atheistic or whatever, or whether you lean more conservative or Christian or Jewish or whatever leaning you have here, okay? We all tend to sometimes feel like the other guys are creating all the problems. And what we do is we settle into, are you ready for this? We settle into a victim mentality where they are out to get us. You're not going to win. A victim mentality doesn't take responsibility. A victim mentality doesn't fix things. You want to fix it? Fix it. You don't like what they're teaching your kids? Then teach them the truth. If you can't pull them out of school and teach them yourself at home, then send them to school, and then when they come home, talk about what they learned and teach them. You don't like what you're watching on the TV? Then turn off the TV. Stop giving it your money. You don't like what's happening in politics? Well, first of all, you can vote for whoever you want. None of them are going to be real with you. They're all going to lie to you. So you don't like it? Run for office yourself or just do it yourself. I don't know if you've ever seen this guy. If I can find a link, I'll have to share it later. But there's this guy who got sick of potholes. He got sick of potholes and he went out and he bought the stuff to patch potholes on his own. And at first, the Department of Transportation was like, no, you can't fix those potholes. And he's like, somebody's got to fix the potholes. You're not fixing them. I fix them. So you don't like what you see in the world? Make it different. We're not all going to unite. That's just the bottom line. Because some of you guys like Joe Biden, and some of you guys like Elizabeth Warren, and some of you guys like Bernie Sanders, and some of you guys like Donald Trump, and some of you guys like me don't like any of them. We're not going to unite. We are not going to have a collective voice on anything. And that doesn't solve anything anyway. It just is one voice shouting at the other one. Don't like what you see? Change it. Look at something different. Anyway, I kind of got long-winded on that one. Boy, guys, this is a long podcast today. Almost like, I like to keep them short, but, every now and then something gets me fired up. Anyway, you guys, I am glad that you listened to the Manlihood ManCast. Please, guys, hop on to the Manlihood Man Cave and join me there. Follow it on Instagram. If you like what you're hearing here, please leave us a review, share it with your friends, and tell somebody about it. I love you guys, and I'm glad you're with me. Take care.